Good morning and welcome along to the Dundee United live stream series. It's part 23 and we start today with a very bizarre start to the transfer window, a bizarre end I should say, and a bizarre start to the post-transfer window era. We've got to try and get recovery in the Scottish Premiership, which we started to show signs of last time out. We've also got to try and make things happen in the Europa Conference and really try to move forward with this side. So let's see if we can do that. Thank you to all of those who are waiting here already. I do appreciate you spending the morning here. Please do chuck a thumbs up on it if you haven't already. As we go and get into what is one of the strangest episodes we'll have for a while. The Football Channel, good morning. Thank you for popping in. Do appreciate it as always. We'll only have the 4 games today. We'll have Aberdeen, AEK, and we'll show you the full draw obviously. Celtic, Utrecht, who we know very well from the Bangor City game. Save where we've had them obviously in the Europa Conference groups. And they seem to be perennial group performers there. So it's going to be interesting. Got an injury to Matt O'Reilly, one of the star midfielders who did stay with us. And a strange end to the transfer window. More injury news, more players lost. It's all a little bit strange. So thank you to everyone who's come along. I do appreciate your waiting. Please do chuck a thumbs up on it. And let's get involved. And I think we have to start with the transfer news because it really is pretty average. So let's see what we can do with it, shall we? If we go ahead to the transfer window, we said, if you remember, that there is absolutely no way we want to finish this window with Benjamin Siegrist as our first choice keeper. Unhappy, poor personality, and complaining all the time. We did not want him to be our number 1. There was no way that was going to happen. Well, no news. There's a few bits of transfer news to come, but no news in terms of immediate ins. None whatsoever. Nobody has joined. We are in the same pickle as we were beforehand. So that's the first bit of news that we can get excited about. The second bit of news is nobody else came in. The third bit of news is we lost 2 players. So Leandro Fuchs we were planning on getting rid of. He went to Salzburg on loan. And they're paying all of his wages and a little bit of a fee. So we're happy enough with that. Luke Bolton on deadline day threw a tantrum because we rejected a bid from Newcastle. Second time lucky, he's gone there. £450,000. It's not a great deal of money, but how much was he really playing for us? He did quite well, but last season played a lot less than the first season and was possibly going to do the same again this year. So Newcastle, a Premier League, I'm not sure, to be brutally honest, why they want him. Other than maybe as a squad filler with a homegrown status. So potentially that's all. Daniel, good morning, welcome along. Thank you for popping in as always, do appreciate it. Lovely to have so many of you waiting this morning as well. But I guess the big news is the fact that we haven't signed anyone. However, as I did hint in the Discord beforehand, there's been a couple of bizarre things going on. So if we go and have a look at the transfer centre, we've got 2 pre-agreed deals for January. Now one of them is Nathan Baxter, who rejected us to go to Norwich a week before the window ended. But then, the day after the transfer window closed, he got in a strop and got transfer listed by request. We only found out because he was still on our shortlist, but because they hadn't bought him someone to help him settle in. But he'd only been there a week or 2, hadn't he? So he joined them for 59,000. I mean, it's good business from their part. A week later, he's on the transfer list, and we've made an offer of 170 grand. So he will be coming in January. We tried to get 4 permanent and 2 loan goalkeepers in that time. Didn't work on deadline day. None of them happened. We tried Scott Bain, the old Celtic one. We tried to get Bursic on a permanent. We tried to loan in a couple of others just till January. Didn't work. Couldn't do it. So as a result, we're stuck with Siegrist till January essentially, and we need him to pull his finger out. Ali McCann is the other one. Another frustration on deadline day. We made the bid to St Johnstone. They accepted it for 900 grand. And then on the day, the thing they had to have in there was sign a replacement player first. Now, we've seen from the head coach and from various other occasions that never works out well. They never get the replacement in. And the same happened here. Ali McCann was left at St Johnstone. They then accept a bid the day after and he's coming in January. So an upgrade to the midfield at that point. But for now, we're that one man short again and relying on youngsters. We are looking at Jamie Robson here, who's 24 now. He's not made an appearance for Newcastle since joining, but Just want to get the sell-on clause in. 115 grand extra. Could be big for us. So a very strange end to the transfer window and a very strange week after it. Ronak, welcome along. Thank you for joining in. But yeah, a very strange week. So I'm not quite sure what to make of it. We've now had the internationals, of course, and we've got games to come. So as well as AEK and FC Utrecht in Europa Conference, the whipping boys should be SJK from Finland. They're a side that haven't got many real players, bar this guy, Verta, who is a very good one, by the way. But he's only one of only 3 players that are real. They've got a lone goalkeeper who's okay. They've got Jake Jervis, a former Luton player, which is bizarre enough in itself. He's gone there in real life, I think. Yeah, he did. I knew he'd gone to Finland. I wasn't sure which club. So he's definitely correctly there. But he stayed there for 3 years, which is all the more bizarre in this sort of game. But the rest of their squad is a downgrade. We should be beating them. In terms of the other teams, they're not playable leagues in this save. So we want to see how they're doing. So Utrecht have got George Johnston, who we tried to sign in the summer. And they outbid us in terms of wages. They've got John Obi Mikel, Timothy Fosu-Mensah, Jeremy Bella. They're going to be a good side. So that might be difficult. And then the final side is AEK Athens of Greece. John Guidetti's there up front. Zakaria Labyad, former wonder kid in this game. And Lucas Teodoric's up front. They're a good side. So we're battling with the other 2 for the first and second places, quite frankly. We've just got to hope we can get one of those. How are the youth players doing? Not really much change since the last episode, to be fair. What we will say this stage of the season is we're going to be relying on them more. Darren Watson is now going to be our first backup up front. Finn Malcolm is going to stay our second backup up front. I'm concerned his personality's not developing though. And Chris Mockery is now going to be first backup in the deep line playmaker role. And if we do go back to a tactic with a number 10, he'll be first choice there. Nielsen is going to have to be fourth choice centre half. Not developing as much as I'd like. And we've got Jack Newman as a backup keeper. Callum Donaldson we've promoted to the first team permanently, which is a good job given the fact that Bolton's now gone. So they're going to get more of a chance and they're going to get a real test. Dembele's still out injured for a couple of months. O'Reilly's got his knock now. They are going to have to be involved at some point. So let's get into the first game of the day as the old firm clubs draw with each other. And let's try and pick our strongest possible 11. At the back, I think we've done that with the exception of Finley, who's still a little bit unhappy. Got no choice in goal with Siegrist. And actually, if you boil it down without the unavailable players or whatever, we've not got the strongest squad to choose from, particularly from midfield onwards. So we're going to get Mallon back in alongside Mockery. We're also going to get, because Ray's got a heavy match load there, we're also trying to get Shanklin back in because he's got a light match load now. And he'll go up front alongside McNulty. And then it's just about what you do from there. Ray will replace Davenport on the bench. I mean, we haven't really got wide options on there, bar Sporrell. So it's what you put on the bench. It doesn't really matter. But I'm going to go for Boyes because I think he's the best of the lot. I would be tempted to go for Ralston ahead of Nielsen. I think we should do that. Let's go as senior as possible today. But there is no doubting that this squad is in a weaker shape than it was 2 years ago. And that's something we've got to be concerned about. So if we go and have a look at the lineup, this is what we've gone for. We have got Siegrist in goal. Matheson and Mitchell, the fullbacks, with Mengi and Kerr at the back. Really good back 5, apart from Siegrist's attitude. The midfield 4, though, is a little weaker. Byrne and Duffy on the wings, Mockery and Mallon in the middle. And then up front, it's Shankland and McNulty. 5 goals apiece so far this season. We could do with a few more now. Let's see if we get them. Thank you to everyone joining along as well. Lovely to have you all here this morning. Almost in double figures already as we go to face Aberdeen, who are led by Russell Martin as manager, who's currently at MK Dons doing a good job. Joe Lewis is still there. Sam Cosgrove is still there. Not got his transfer to Birmingham as in real life. George Moncur from Luton is in there. Kingsley's a good player. Hanlon's a good player. Javier Simons is a good player. Did we have him at Dorking last year, I feel? Ross McCrory, Matty Kennedy. It's a good squad. Even the likes of Brendan Galloway and Ryan Hedges on the bench. Scott Wharton, they're good footballers. So let's go and get into this first game. Hopefully, it's going to be a successful 4 in today's. It's slightly shorter, as I mentioned, due to other commitments, but we're hoping we can get a good result to start. 4-2-3-1 for Dundee and for Aberdeen even. 4-4-2 for us as normal. Let's hope, because I'm not sure this is going to be an easy game. Look at the stats. What's going on in terms of the stats? We're going to go positive. We're going to demand more, because it has been a woeful start. Though we have got a free kick with Mallon into McNulty. And it doesn't matter if you get outplayed. There's plenty of games we've had 20 shots and lost awfully at the back. This one, we've had our first shot and scored after Aberdeen have absolutely dominated. That's exactly what we wanted to see. And with 5 to the break, we've got another set piece. This one's headed away. Hernandez flicks on. If we could nick 2-0 for half time, it would be incredible given the state of the game. Kerr finds Mockery. Out to Duffy on the left. Beats his man. Gets into the byline. Crosses from the box. Is he going to get it in? Goes back. That's poor. Mitchell can't get there. He does win the tackle on McKenzie though. Gets it back immediately. Cuts it back to Mockery. Delivers into Byrne. Loses out to Kingsley. Kennedy clears. Beats his challenge. Where's the centre halves gone? What is the defence doing? Cosgrove gets it in behind. Oh, that's frustrating. Look at that. CJ Egan-Riley's at Ayr United there. He's doing a good job for us at Derby in the head coach. Either he's had a fall from grace in this save, not developed, or Ayr United have gone big in the summer. I don't know which one it will be. I'm just going to go to the opposition instructions, because I think they put a thing on for Kerr to close down on Kerr. And I'm not sure we want to do that. But as it shows there, there's not anyone really tightly marking him. I don't think he's got anyone on those positions. So, in terms of it, it's just the pressing intensity and nothing else has changed. So I'm not quite sure why Kerr was so out of position there. Thank you for all the extra viewers as well. Lovely to have you along this morning. As we defend a corner, Mengi heads away. Now can we do the classic Dundee United? Let's get on the break and score goals. McNulty charges past them. He's in behind here. And he's shot straight at Lewis. Has not quite got them shooting boots on. Although to be fair, he's had a good game. Shankland hasn't. Corner kick to be taken by Byrne. Hanlon heads away. Shankland gets there on the right hand side. Out to Byrne, who I think was offside. Or was he? Yeah. It does my head in FM. Happens so often that when they pass it back out to the corner taker, he's offside. Just run back and get on side, will you? As Kingsley gets it at left back. Simons beats the press. Finds Kennedy. And you feel like the way this game's gone, it's only a matter of time and that we're not going to win it. As Mitchell flies into a tackle, gets nowhere near it. McKenzie in, it's a good clearance by Mallon, who's back on his own goal line there. McCrory gets it wide to Hernandez, beats his man into the box, gets to the byline again, and it's Siegrist with a save. Does well to hold it. Some very worrying signs there, and they've gone more attacking. They've pushed their wing backs up into midfield. We've now got a real attacking 7 against us, basically. But we've got a throw on the left with Mitchell, and it could give us some sort of opportunity. As Mockery finds Mallon to Mitchell. Time again to Mockery. Don't give it away there, because there's a lot of pressure on us. Gets it in behind. McNulty was offside, left it. Kennedy flicks it on as far as Mitchell. Chance to go down the left to Duffy. Takes on his fullback. And now he's dragged one of the centre halves out. Gets it into McNulty. Across the box to Byrne. Must be 2. And it is 2. The change in tactic does not work for Aberdeen. And we are in a fantastic shape as a result. Something we're delighted to see after the start to the morning. It's exactly what we need. A big win at home and a big return to form. So let's get Mockery off. He's had a poor game again, actually. We'll bring Glenn Ray on and switch Stevie Mallon. And Ray actually can be a centre midfielder on defence. Just try and shore things up there. Shankland's had a poor game. Darren Watson on for him. I think they're better that way round. And, I mean, Matheson's been the poorest afterwards. I'm going to save the last change for 5 more, just in case, so we don't end up playing with 10 for any length of time. Just over 10 minutes to go, though. I think we will probably do it now. Although Duffy's knackered on the left, so let's make a sub there. We've got Adrian Sporrell anyway. We'll start Sporrell in the European game, I think. But we come back into it second half, and we deserve the win in the end on that performance. What Aberdeen will be angry about is the fact they haven't got 4 before. Look at that! Kerr just ran past him. Did you watch Kerr there? I know he wasn't a thing to look at. He ran forward 30 yards and left the runner in behind. I don't know what's causing that. As the assistant manager, put an instruction on that we don't know about. Yeah, look, he's been told to mark a specific player. So let's take that off. But even if you've got something on to mark a player, to lose him, then charge forward 20 yards and leave the whole gaping defence open does not make sense. As Mallon's giving it away, we're going to throw this away. We're going to go from 3 points to none in 5 minutes. Jabello's in, and it's in second time, is it? Oh my God. I cannot believe what I'm seeing. I don't know what to say. I really don't know what to say. This last 5 minutes, Dylan, good morning. Thank you for popping in. This last 5 minutes has explained exactly why we will never really succeed with Dundee United. Mitchell's coming down the left. I mean, if we win it now, we will celebrate, but there's not much to enjoy, is there? Watson delivers. McNulty's there, and it's disallowed for offside. How have we thrown this game away? The Kerr situation is bizarre. Maybe it's time for Finley to come back in. But we're going to have to stop the assistant putting instructions on, because that's awful. On the first half, yes, Aberdeen deserved it. But once we got 2-0 up, that is pretty inexplicable. And we said if Siegrist was still here next episode, we'd start looking for a job. The problem is, there's no standard of job we can really get with our qualifications. Yes, we've won a Scottish League Cup, we've managed in Europe, but it doesn't seem to mean a lot. Dan, the last goal was a joke. You're absolutely right. I don't know how to explain them. Because the second goal has nothing to do with the instructions that are on. So I know we're probably going to have to start at the bottom again. But I feel like the message isn't getting across at Dundee United. So we're going to have to look for a job. And rather than finding a big job, because we're not going to be able to do that with our reputation. We've got a 1-star reputation just. And we're still on our first badge. But we've got to do it before we're pushed. It might be that now we can get a National League job. And if we wait another 2 months, it might be a National League North or South. So I'm looking at that one at the moment. That's what I've got my eye on. Southend, insecure. National League, they're a good club. They're in financial trouble, obviously. Halifax is a good club as well. Even Wokin's not bad. So I'll have a look at the 3 of those. Ballina Millard in the Northern Irish Championship could be one. They're a club I thought about for the long-term story because they've got brilliant youth facilities, or did have normally. Yeah, good youth recruitment, good academy coaching, adequate youth facilities. So they're a club we could potentially do something at. If we have a look at their star players. I mean, they're not awful for that level. But I don't think they'll stay top. And it would take out a one-club story in a future years. So I'd rather stick with the English ones. But I don't know how to explain that start. How have we clutched a draw from the jaws of victory yet again? It's absolutely astonishing. I'm going to put Nielsen in the under-23s. The rest will leave, or the reserve, sorry. We're now 8th in the Scottish Premiership. We're 5 points behind Hibs. And if we don't get that 3rd place again, we will get sacked. We'll probably fail in Europe again because I don't think we've got a big enough squad to play the first team. Or do I play it tactically? Do I go first team against AEK, reserves against Celtic, knowing we probably won't win, then reserves against Utrecht, first team against Dunfermline? I don't know. I'm really perplexed by that. That's just sort of knocked me for 6 that last 10 minutes. Stuart Duncanson's finally starting to show a bit of form after coming back from that broken leg a year or so ago. I just want to have a quick look at Ayr United's transfer work as well. So we talked about CJ Egan-Riley. He's on loan. It's not quite as good as the normal save, but he's doing alright. Paul Caddis, experience from Swindon. Ben Williams on loan from Barnsley as a decent player. Lewis Strapp, we know him well from the head coach. He's a good player. Charlie White's come in. Hat-trick hero in League One in real life yesterday. Ayr United have gone big this summer. And to be fair, they've started well again. They're in 5th place. And that's without the top scorer in the league last year, Darren Watson, who's come back to us and isn't scoring. So you've got to be fair to them. They're doing one hell of a job. I don't know who the Air manager's been since they've come up. It's still Mark Kerr. Player manager the first 3 years and now manager. He's worked wonders in this save. When we were in the head coach, they weren't really causing any threat. In fact, they might have even been in League One. But what a tie they've had here. We're back to play AEK Athens. We've got the pre-match press conference. It's the only thing I feel that can save us now is a real run. A real big run in Europe. And with the group we've got, it's about the best chance we're going to have. I tried to sign Malumbi on loan when I knew we weren't going to get McCann, but he's rejected us for Israel. I'm not going to put Finn Malcolm in the 18s because I think he's going to start against Celtic. I think we'll go reserves. Thank you to everyone joining in as well. Lovely to see so many of you here this morning. Come and get involved in the chat if you haven't already. Come and say hello. Let us know how your team got on yesterday. Let us know how you're doing. I'm keeping an eye on TNS as well because they've got Olympia in their group. They've lost. But based on the Bangor City save, it's frustrating they're doing so well here. Look at some of the players they've got. They've got a 17-year-old Ugandan through their youth academy. Why can't they have these in our Bangor City save? Look at him. He's basically Connor Crawford from Cliftonville in FM20. He's exactly the same attribute style. I don't understand that. Paul Carden's in charge, which I'm not going to get into with the old Luton situation. They've got Denilson Carvalho. Their team's so much better. They've still got Keston Davis, which is the only sort of continued mark. And a lovely bloke. We interviewed him on the podcast. He was fantastic. But there's a lot that's puzzling me here. Robbie Wilmot's come over from England. Ryan Corrigan's on loan, who's a good player. And their goalkeeper's a step up too. I don't get it. The things I'm seeing in this save are really frustrating me for the long-term stories. But as it is, we've got a game to focus on. So Glenn Ray's going to come in for Colin Mockery. Mallon's going to switch to the playmaker role. Although O'Reilly's back, so he could come in instead actually. We can drop Boys off the bench. O'Reilly's in. We'll go back to full strength in midfield. And then we're going to put Finley in at centre-half for Kerr. And I think that's it for today. So just a couple of changes. One in centre mid, one at centre half. And aside from that, in we go. It's got to be a big performance. And in this group stage, we've got to start winning the home games. Particularly AEK and SJK. We've got to beat them. And hopefully we'll do so. Thank you for the extra thumbs up as well. Almost in double figures now. It does make such a difference. I hope you're enjoying our antics and our frustration at Dundee United. After thinking this stream was going to start well, 2 sucker punches from Aberdeen late on, some awful tactical instructions from the assistant. And it's how we survive it. Hamilton Academical are in a group with our Athletic Bilbao. Athletic Bilbao is an incredible one. As Shankland gets the ball on the right to Matheson. Can we get an early lead? Not that it's going to matter the way we're defending. As Byrne gets it on the right. Into O'Reilly. Out to Matheson. This is the chance. Get it in early. Get the goal. Headed away. And now they can counter. Mitchell gets there first though. Chance to get the cross in. Finds Duffy. Duffy back to O'Reilly. Into the box goes Duffy. Cuts in on his right foot. Curls it just wide of the far post. Oh, frustration. Thank you for all the extra support as well. Does make a difference. Just 1 thumbs up away from double figures. Come and get involved in the chat. Let me know how you're getting on. And I hope you're all well this weekend. As Mitchell goes back to O'Reilly. Duffy gets the ball on the left-hand side. Mitchell picks it up. Gets to the left back byline. Cuts it back to Duffy. Delivers in. There's 3 in the box. No one even jumps for the header. And Labia brings it away. Former FM Wonder Kid. I'm sure we've all owned him at some point. As it falls to the Polish international striker. Back to Guidetti. Both of them dropping quite deep there. Almost like the target men are dropping in and sending midfield runners behind them. As Giannopoulos finds it into Nomikos. Volis to Guidetti. They're keeping it nicely. Good possession side into the box just over the bar. Free header though. It's not good again. Hopefully we'll be alright. SOF, good morning. Liverpool fans. Starting to become a bit tedious watching the matches. It's a shame, isn't it? Because it's quite clear that the personal situation for Jurgen Klopp's affecting him. It's a shame, really, because when it first happened, I just wish they'd sort of given him 2 weeks off. Just to at least go and do video calls and things. To not be able to go is horrible. So for him, he just looked like he needed a break at that point. And if he'd had that 2 weeks off, maybe he'd be alright now, but you can't blame him. And let's be fair, this season's been bizarre. Every club has had a crisis stage. Don't forget, United didn't win a home game for the first month and a half. City were, bottom 8 games in? They were on 10, 11 points. They weren't doing great. They were losing silly games. Oh, Mallon scored a screamer. What a goal from Stevie Mallon on the volley. Unbelievable technique. But yeah, I wouldn't get too downhearted because it's just the odd off season. It puts a lot of pressure on the Champions League and maybe he'll focus on that. But I wouldn't worry too much because in the grand scheme of things, it's not been a bad run, has it? McNulty's had a knock. We're going to bring on Darren Watson for him. We've brought on Sporrell on the left, switch Duffy to the right. Burns had a poor game. He comes off. Again, Siegrist with the body language at the back. That's what's costing us. SJK have lost 4-0 at home to Utrecht so far. They're becoming the whipping boys already. I'm really worried about Siegrist though, because that mentality is going to cost us eventually. Here come AEK on the right-hand side. Throw into Guidetti. Back to the right back to Labyad. Into the right back again. He's dived out the way. He has dived out the way of the shot. He's straight at him. And he's literally dived to his right out the way of it. I don't understand. I cannot explain it for the life of me. What on earth is going on? O'Reilly's just back from injury, so I'm going to bring Mockery on for him. I'm just going to try and encourage them because they look on the floor. The confidence isn't there. The ability isn't really there at the minute. And we've got a young squad with loan players and players who are going to get torn away for a few million. And to be honest, drawing this game at home against what I presume after Utrecht will be the second strongest team in the group, I don't think that puts us in a good position. And again, Siegrist's mentality at the back is costing us. The fitness is a huge problem. Because we're very early in the season. People are fresh. It's not like they're going and playing loads of international matches. If we could have replaced Siegrist with Baxter, if he hadn't made that Norwich mistake first, I think we'd be fine this year. I honestly believe he's making that big a difference. Shanklin gets it on the right. It's going to be full time in a second. Duffy nearly gets himself sent off there. But it's 1-1. And again, we've clutched a draw from the jaws of fixturing. It's very frustrating. McNulty's got a knock. He's going to miss a day or two. We'll go full reserves against Celtic and just try and kit them on a counter. Macca, good morning. Thank you for popping in. Lovely to see all the extra viewers. Thank you for the thumbs up too. Lovely to have some of the regulars and a couple of the newbies in as well. It's been a long old morning so far. Both games have looked great after 80 odd minutes. 2 in 2 minutes against Aberdeen. 2 woeful goals. And then Siegrist doing his best impression to dive out the way in a second. We'll keep an eye on that job centre because my word, we're going to need it. But I don't know what to say. St Albans, that's local to me. We could have a look at that. But the Southend one, I don't know if we'd get it. But it's the one I'm really looking at. I don't know what to say though. Are there any keepers available as free agents? Anyone that can compete in terms of quality and that we could just let go. Because Siegrist shouldn't be starting for us. It's becoming the most destructive thing we've had in this series is having him in goal with his mentality and his attitude. And the thing that's frustrating is he's a very good keeper. And he won't cut it at the moment. The only other thing we can get out of him is to end that unhappiness. But I don't know. He was unhappy we didn't sell him to West Ham. He's unhappy about the team talk. He's unhappy about this and that and that. And there's only so much you can do. I'm going to praise his conduct. Just see if we can get him back on side. Get him to calm down. Get him to stop pulling other members of the dressing room with him. And then we'll sell him quickly as we can in the next window once Baxter's in. Dylan, hopefully we can win today, playing Oxford, which is a tough game. Oxford have been relentless recently. I hate to tell you this. How many games is it they've won in a row? Unless they've dropped some points in the last 1 or 2. I'm sure last weekend it was 7 or 8 wins in a row. Excuse the keyboard, let's have a look. You can never keep up with the fixtures, can you? Oh, because they lost to Doncaster, didn't they? But aside from that, if we go based on league games, I mean, their run started against Northampton. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 7. Yes, they've won 8 of the last 9. And from Carl Robinson being on the brink, they're, with games in hand, now probably favourites for the playoffs again. Wigan obviously made a very good signing in Joe Dodu, which hopefully will work out. And they won their last game, which led to the demise of Keith Curle, didn't it? But it's going to be a close one. There's so many close games in League One at the minute. It's sort of weird at the bottom as well, because you've just got a group of 6 up to Rochdale, or 7, sorry. And nothing else really happening beyond that. And then the top of the table is ridiculous. And you don't know where to stop, because like Shrewsbury and Blackpool in the 30s, they've got 4, 5 games in hand on some. So it's very hard to judge the League One table at present, but certainly going to be interesting. Yeah, they're a cracking side. They absolutely are. Carl Robinson does such a good job. I mean, even people we've spoken to on the podcast, I think Dean Bowditch is the best example, who had him at MK Dons, just said that the man management, the personal side, is the best manager you'll ever see. So it's a very strong statement. He's really pulling a Pogba there to spat his dummy out. I think he's worse than that, to be fair. I think Pogba was more the agent. This is Siegrist without the agent. McGeady and White are the Son and Kane of League One. McGeady was back to his best yesterday. I know White got the hat-trick and the headlines, but that performance from McGeady makes me think that the playoffs are possible this year for Sunderland. We did say on the podcast we thought it would take till next year. But Lee Johnson's a good manager. Just stick by him. If he has a poor run this season and you don't make the playoffs, just stick with him, because there's still a lot of overhauling to do there. And if you allow him to do it, it'll be very good for you. So I'm just looking at this guy, our backup youth keeper, Jack Newman, who's come from Sunderland himself, ironically. I'm looking at him and thinking, do we give him a game? He played 2 Scottish Premiership matches when Siegrist was out, and he was poor as well. I think his quality is too poor, and Siegrist's attitude is too poor. But we cheered Siegrist up with a chat, so let's see if it works. Finley at the back in the last game, 6.7. Not as good as Kerr, really. So what game do I play the first team for? Let's go full backup. It's Celtic away. We're not going to get the result. Newman will start in goal. Right back will be Ralston. Left back will be Boys. Centre half will be Nielsen and Finley. In midfield, we're going to go for... The problem is both of my backup wingers are left wingers. Callum Donaldson, who's the youngster. And... I'll tell you what, we'll start Burn. Duffy can play on the right in the week. Then on the left, we'll go for Sporrell. He'll be able to do 2 in a row. And then Donaldson, he's that bit younger, that bit more inexperienced. We can use him off the bench. Up front, we know for sure it's going to be Watson and Finn Malcolm. Not sure which way round they're best. I think the first way. Mockcrete will go in the middle alongside Glenn Ray. Davenport's on the bench, a waste of 100 grand. That's been really good championship player in real life. But here, just not cutting it. Bench will be Kerr, Matheson, Mitchell, Davenport, O'Reilly, Donaldson and McNulty. Into the Celtic game we go. And the third of 4 this morning is probably going to be embarrassment. But let's go and enjoy it anyway. Thank you for all the extra viewers and thumbs up as well. It does make such a difference. Jack, any loan keepers available? Don't think we can sign loans outside the window, can we? We're outside the transfer window now, so I'm not sure that we can get one in. Because in Wales, obviously, we have the domestic loan window. And there's something similar in Northern Ireland, I think, but here there's not. SOF, I think it's due to being used to high performance level on a consistent basis. Going through this rut is frustrating. Agree with Klopp. I'm sure if COVID wasn't an issue, he would have been given leave. Oh, absolutely. I completely agree. And there's enough good coaches at that club for a couple of weeks. Just to give him a week's rest to actually go and mourn a little bit or something, you know. It's so important. And you can tell, like, look at the relationship he has with acquaintances, like people he encounters in his professional career. To think what his personal relationship must be like, they're going to be close, aren't they? So I think it would benefit Liverpool to give him that week. White got all 4. There was because there was a bit of doubt about the last one, wasn't there? Because I was watching it on Final Score at work, and it just kept getting corrected, and eventually it got given to White. But yeah, the confusion was bizarre. For some reason, I thought you were near January. It's only because at the start we had to talk about all the players that we've pre-agreed deals with for January that we tried to get on deadline day that didn't work out. But yeah, we're only in September, unfortunately, and we're about to be 1-0 down. Open goal for Matej Mitrovic. And to be fair, I'm pretty impressed we held out for 20. This has turned into a disaster. After 80 minutes against Aberdeen, or 85 even, I thought we were flying. Oh, Klopp's been affected by that for the whole couple of weeks. It's so frustrating because he's such a good manager. And you can tell, when it comes to press conferences and things, you can tell he's acting out of character. It is such a shame, but the players will be affected because if you've got that sort of person who's so intense, who's so on the ball all the time, and then for 2 weeks he's just lulling a bit, it's going to make such a difference. That 10%. But I would also say, let's not forget, Liverpool were the better side and dominant for 70 minutes. There was then a could go either way VAR decision, which, you know, I don't think anyone can really complain either way. And then the second goal was an Alisson howler, which I don't know what Klopp can do about that. And the third wouldn't have happened without the second because the fullbacks had stretched against them. So it's not like it was a woeful performance or Liverpool got outclassed or anything. They played one of the best teams in the league. Leicester will be in the top 6 again this season. And they got a decent performance out of them. It was just a couple of moments of madness. Yeah, I saw the Lee Burge one. An own goal, the 2 penalties. It was an interesting game by the looks of it. Right, let's go and make some changes, shall we? It's half time only. But it's the experienced players costing us here. I'll leave it 10 more minutes because there's no benefit to it really, is there? When we get to the last half an hour, we'll do it. But for now, we'll cope with what we got. As Christie goes over the top, Catrone flicks on. Just a measure of the quality of players they're bringing in. Boys gets it long downfield. Mitrovic, the goal scorer, heads away. Finley's beaten to it. Baxter the wall stuff. Scott on the left-hand side. Back to Christie. Quality player. Time on the ball. Finds Scott. And into the side netting. But absolutely stunning play. And probably should have been 2. Although Celtic have had less shots on target. Despite dominating the match. So let's encourage the boys as a free kick comes in. Oh, no. Nielsen misses a header. Ralston swings at a clearance and misses. Newman in the end gets it dropped to his feet. But it is awful. It really is. Oh, look at the kick from Newman. That's 2. Catrone, good save. What on earth was the distribution? We're going to risk the sack here. Yeah, James Justin's out for a long time. It's a shame because he would have been in the next England squad. He's been stunning this season. Yeah, you can tell Klopp's emotionally charged. And for different reasons to normal. Donaldson comes on for Sporrell, who's booked. Ray is replaced by Davenport. Ray was booked as well. Jack Byrne's nervous. Jack Byrne's tired. I mean, Finley's anxious at the back. Let's do Finley for Kerr. Because Finley's the one with the poor attitude as well, isn't he? Thank you for everyone coming along this morning as well. Please do chuck a thumbs up on it if you haven't already. Does make such a difference in our slightly shortened stream this morning due to other commitments. But there's still all the usual daily stories as well. Bangor City back today with a very, very big game. A playoff for our first ever chance to play in the Champions League group stages, which money-wise and financially will be a massive spinner for the club. Will allow us to increase the facilities, will surely help the reputation of the league, and hopefully then increase the value of the other teams and the broadcast revenue. But we've got a tough game first, so I wouldn't rule it out. It'll be a big tie today. And then Derby County tomorrow. It's all going wrong over there as well. Big transfer window to come. It's going to be exciting. A transfer special on a Monday afternoon is nothing better, is there? Start of half term as well for most people. Not that they've been at school anyway. Started a new save unemployed. What badges and that? Was being offered jobs in the conference. Managed to wait and get a job with Bradford. Went up through the playoffs, offered the Brentford job and won the playoffs. Premier League, happy days. 20 minutes to go. Kerr's going to mark Catrone. And I'm going to put that on this time because I want him to follow him. But I don't see many positives. Yes, we put up a performance again. But we just haven't got the quality at both ends of the pitch. The goalkeeper and the squad depth up front is problematic. And as a result, it's a good performance and we lose only 1-0 to Celtic. But that's not going to help us save our job. They don't consider the fact that we've played Rangers and Celtic near the start of the year. They just say, you're in 8th place. I actually wonder what our job security is like now. Should we go and have a look? C+. How? Alright, so the Scottish Premiership bit is satisfied. In with a chance. Are we in with a chance at the moment? I mean, I suppose the other teams are dropping points, so we're only 6 points off. But things have got to turn. We've got a final game in the morning against Utrecht. The plan is then, I'm going to play Dunfermline, SJK, maybe Livingston. Where are they? They're 5th, so we might come back for that one. Because what I did forget when I was planning this is that this is Winter World Cup year. So actually what we'll do is we'll play the 3 games off camera up to Livingston. Then we'll come back for 5. Hibs, Rangers and then the final 3 Europa Conference games. And then that will take us through to the mid-season break. So I guess that is a positive this year. Is those signings will be coming in earlier in the season than they would normally. And that should give us a chance to have more games with the better squad. Dylan, my England side is Pope. I hate to tell you this, but Pope isn't going to get the number 1 shirt. It will be Pickford or Henderson. James, Stones, Maguire, Shaw, Trent Alexander-Arnold. So, you playing a back 5 there. I don't get what tactic that is. So you're playing, I'm presuming that your back 3 is including Reece James. Or are you going Shaw centre and then Reece James left wing back? But then I don't think either of those could do left wing back. I think Walker will be in there, I'll be honest. Stones has come back to form, which is a massive plus. Michael Keane I would have above Maguire this season, but that's not going to happen. Henderson will be in the middle. There'll be one more defensive option in there. It'll be Declan Rice, who's had a very good season. It'll be... And Mount will start ahead of Grealish, I can assure you of that. And then the front 3 I probably agree with. So, I'm just trying to find some quality here. I don't know what to do to get through to January without damage. I'm so glad that we've not got a lot of league games before then, but I'm mindful of the fact we could lose out in Europe. If we can sneak second in the group and get through, we could have a great second half of the year once Baxter and McCann join. We've got to keep an eye on how Kilmarnock are doing in the Championship as well, because if they don't win it, then hopefully the likes of Brophy become cheaper signings when they've only got 2 years left on the deal and they won't sign a new one. Of course, this year in the league, we've got that added Hibs threat who got relegated inexplicably the first year, but have come back with aplomb. Mockery's improving, but not playing well, which is a concern. Because it's all good improving in training every week, but if you're then rubbish every time you play a match, it becomes a problem. Craig, Trent can't play out of form at the moment. He'll be back in form by the end of the season. He'll never play Trent in a holding role. I agree, he actually is suited to a centre midfielder, but it won't happen. It'll be Rice in there. And it's a shame, because the informed right back in the country was James Justin, or left back, whichever way you want it. National B and local professional, I believe. Oh, that's why. So for me, I have nothing. I have Sunday League and no badges. I was wondering why I don't get a Conference or League 2 job. I have noticed, though, if at the start of the save you don't just take the first job, which obviously doesn't work for this save, but if you wait, you then can get a National League club because they're desperate and they'll give you a chance a bit higher up. Oh, look what they're recommending. Oh, Tony Ascar, you are causing chaos. I'm going to do it. Do you know what? He's spot on. Let's do it. How much more annoyed is he going to get? He's already costing us. Final game of the morning. Let's set the lineup up and then I'll be back with you in the chat. I'll go and make the changes recommended, as we're worried about the wrath of John Obi Mikel in this game. Finley replaced by Kerr. The back five's the same aside from that. Jack Burney's not starting. Duffy on the right. Sporrell on the left, wherever he is. He's not even in the squad for the assistant. Shankland's had 3 poor games in a row since a brilliant performance at Hamilton in the last game of the last episode. Glenn Ray is going to get on the bench. Jack Byrne is going to get on the bench. Anthony Ralston is going to get on the bench. And who else is there that's not normally? Because Finn Malcolm would be on the bench. I mean, I think we're all right with what we got. We're going to go into it. But this is such an important game for us because we've dropped 2 points at home to the second strongest team. Now we've got to get some off the first one. Foden's got to play. I don't know he'll play every game. I mean, from the centre mids forward, we're in a great shape. What a shame it is, like 15 years ago when we had one of the best defences in world football and had the centre midfield quandary and not really the depth in other positions. You know, we couldn't find a left midfielder for love nor money. And now we've got hundreds of players to choose from. But that's the thing, the fact we've got that opportunity to say these players, and I said this in Tuesday's stream, I think, don't get too excited, because like Justin this week, 4 or 5 of the players that we've got in our squads will be out, and the same for Southgate. 4 he's got in his mind, definitely on the plane now, will end up being out injured. 1 will completely lose form and they'll have a decision to make. Another one might be, let's say, playing in and out of a team in that time, not have the match fitness. There'll be another one that's going to the wire that they've got to decide on. As we've started brilliantly here, it's still just 1. The own goals helped us, but can we get some more out of it? This could be a good end to a poor morning, but bar the Celtic one, we've been ahead in every game so far. As Shankland goes back to O'Reilly, out to Duffy. We've started with a lot more intent. We've played a lot better. And Duffy gets to the byline. Chance to cross. Gets it into the box. Shankland off the line. He can't get a goal. We don't want another one of those goalless runs. I don't know if Scotland have qualified for the Winter World Cup, but if he goes with them, we're in trouble when he gets back. Fatigue-wise, anyway. As Mallon gets the ball in the middle. Up to Shankland. 2 on the right. Duffy's one of them. Mallon to Duffy. Duffy beats his man. Cuts it in. McNulty's there. That's a good goal. 2-0 is great. Now, don't throw it away this time, because this is exactly what we need. Thank you to everyone spending the morning here as well. Appreciate you joining me for a slightly shorter stream than normal. Lockdown here is in full flow as well. And as it stands, we're joining AEK at the top. And the fact that they're beating SJK so comfortably as well, we have to get 6 points from that. And if we win this one, and get 6 points from that, we're on 10. And I know it will be very tight between the top 3, but that might be enough. Then it basically becomes, can we nick a draw either at home to Utrecht or away to AEK? But let's not rule this one out yet, because we've been 2-0 up again in this episode and not won a game yet. So I don't want to get too excited. I'm just seeing what options I've got on the bench. Not really any out there. O'Reilly's still coming back to fitness, so I'm going to bring on Glenn Ray, and he's going to be a centre midfielder on defend. No attacking intent whatsoever. We're also going to take off Sporrell and replace him with Mockery on the left-hand side. And Matheson's had another poor game, so I'm going to replace him with Anthony Ralston. So we've got a free kick with Mallon. A third would surely be enough, and Shankland nearly got it. It's cleared off the line. Fosu-Mensah there. I think Shankland was offside anyway. Bayern have confirmed a Upamecano signing. Yeah, I saw that the other day. Brilliant signing. Really good defender. Barese gets it in the box. Ray heads away. Don't do it now. If they score one now, it'll be a draw. I can just tell you it. Wouters gets it in. Beats everyone. Out to the left-hand side. Delivers into Vedder. Heads just over. Great opportunity to win it. But I think with 80 seconds to go, we're going to finish with a win. Are we finally going to get one? Wouters delivers. Maybe not too excited yet. Siegrist comes and claims it. He's going to be unhappy in a moment when he finds out his squad status has been dropped. But today he's actually been solid. As McNulty loses out in the air, Mockery wins it, gives the ball straight away. Bella picks it up to Fosu-Mensah. Into John Obi Mikel. Lovely through ball to Wouters. Where's the defence gone? Into the front post, headed away by Ralston. It's as far as midfield again. 40 seconds left. They can't get two. Mikel finds Bella. There's one. Oh, not again. Not again. There's only 30 seconds. It can't be. It can't be. The full-time whistle goes. The defensive frailties are there late on again. But we do finally win a football match. 4 points out of 6 in the Europa Conference. Clinging on time is still here. And my words. How hard are we making this? A great way to finish the morning on the pitch. We will skip through to Sunday just to see if there's any more off-the-pitch disasters or news. And then we'll leave it at that ahead of Tuesday night. We'll play the 3 games off camera as mentioned. We'll show the last 5 before the winter break on Tuesday. And hopefully we'll be back with a fresh lease of life afterwards. But as it stands, 4 points out of 6 in the Europa Conference is great. We've just got to sort out the league form and stay in touch enough that we don't then get the sack. I haven't actually heard anything out of Siegrist after a day. So maybe because he's already unhappy at something minor, they don't then get worried about the fact we've done something major that annoys him. When lockdown is all done, do you guys fancy going to a game in the lower league? Somewhere handy with plenty of tickets to sell. I guess it's something we'll have to think about a bit later on. Because obviously on the channel we've done Review the 92 with the Football League clubs. But the non-league even, like for us, we've got quite a lot of clubs around here. We go to Hitchin, we go to Hemel Hempstead. St Albans is extortionate, so we don't go there. But there's an option too. There's a couple of Dunstable clubs. There's Crawley Green round the corner from me. There's Crawley Green Reserves round the corner where we can watch Craig from the podcast managing. So there's loads of options, but I guess it's getting the demographics of most. Because I know a lot of people here are in the northwest or Scotland. Well, it's definitely something to think about later down the line. But how long before we're back to 100% capacity? I'm not so sure. Probably be a while yet. Right, I think the fact that we haven't had any news about Siegrist is good news. So we're going to stick with it for one more day. But I think we're going to finish on the positive. A fantastic result away at Utrecht. I thought Ayr were going to shock Rangers there in the League Cup. Wasn't to be. And we're going to reach the Dunfermline game with no further damage. So this is the position we're in. 4 points out of 6 in the Europa Conference. Looks good. We're on course to get through with the easiest side coming up for a double-header. Hopefully AEK and Utrecht will take points off each other, make it a lot easier. Or one of them will fly and one of them will sink. Because then we're guaranteed second. In terms of the league, there's recovery to be done. We're 7 points behind Hibs with a game in hand. We need to get third or we're going to get sacked. We can't fail 2 years in a row. The Scottish Cup is an opportunity. The winter break is a chance for us to really rebuild. But then how many games in quick succession? Look at January. 9 games scheduled already. Already 7 for the shorter month of February. And we could well have 2 European ties in there. So it's going to be difficult. We're going to play 3 games off camera. Then we will be back for the final 5, including 3 European games before we go to the Winter World Cup. And then we'll be back after Christmas next Sunday. So plenty to get excited about. Thank you for spending your morning with me. Apologies again, it's a slightly shorter one. Craig's getting excited there. Dylan, in your safe, Thierry Henry is Arsenal manager and Sol Campbell Spurs. Blimey. There's some strange ones. Yeah, Dan thinks Grealish has to start as well, but I don't think he will. I don't think Foden will either. I'm not sure about it. But thank you all for joining me this morning. Apologies it's slightly shorter due to work commitments, but I do appreciate your time. If you have enjoyed it and you haven't yet, please do chuck a thumbs up on it. We'll be back on Tuesday at 5:30 PM as always. We've got plenty to look forward to there. And then fingers crossed, you'll be able to enjoy the big game with Bangor City this afternoon. And tomorrow, the transfer special from the Director of Football with Derby County. So thank you very much for watching as always. Thank you for giving up your Sunday morning. And I'll see you on Tuesday at 5:30. Thanks for watching.